I hope you've watched my previous video. If you didn't watch it, I recommend it. In this video, I want to talk about something else. Well, it's related, but okay. I want to talk about the Satan principle. I'm not talking about Satan himself. We're not talking about that guy in this video. We're talking about the Satan principle, or the accusation principle. Because the accusation principle is the foundation of all societies. Is the foundation of every nation. It is the foundation of the world. The foundation of the world is the Satan principle. That's why Satan is called the God of this world. It's not just a spiritual meaning, it's also a practical meaning because the world is based on accusation. And what is Satan himself called? The accuser. Okay, it basically works like this. In order for people to generate a sense of belonging, they channel their discomfort towards a third party. Is that someone they've excluded from the group? And this aggression that they display on their selected victim, it does not matter what that individual did, whether he or she was guilty of something or not. The only thing that matters is that they've agreed that he or she is guilty. Why? Because they have generated an accusation. And everyone believes in this accusation, therefore they also believe in the guilt and the blameworthiness of the victim. And because of that, people don't feel and they don't face any mental hinder when they are treating the victim bad. They dehumanize their target and release all the toxicity upon the target. Now, that's accusation with the assassination. Now, in most effective cases, in order for the ritual to be effective, the scapegoat dies or is banned. Then the group has been generated and people feel at home. Now, over time, there is a ritual being made to reenact the official victimization. And if it's over a longer period of time, they're going to do the same thing but with another victim. But what happens when the Satan principle is exposed? What happens when the accusation has been nullified? Understand as well, when the accusation has been nullified, everything that has been built on that foundation is also nullified. Because listen, if accusation is the foundation, that means that everything that's built upon that foundation is a reflection of accusation. Because whatever is built upon a foundation in some way reflects the foundation. So that's also why in dysfunctional or abusive households, whether it's abusive families or an abusive marriage, people are trying to fix the family or fix the marriage, or maybe in a neighborhood they try to fix the tensions. But hold on a minute. If the foundation is accusation, then there is no fixing there. There needs to be a whole new foundation. Because what will happen if the foundation does not change? It's only going to be because okay, let me give an illustration for you. I don't want to make this long. Let me give an illustration to you. Okay, let's say you go to France, okay, and you have this town called Molenbeek, or Molenbeek, I say in English. There's a high percentage of Muslims living there. They speak French. They are part of the Belgian kingdom, because Belgium is a kingdom, if you didn't know it. However, there is this accusation of the native Dutch-speaking Belgians that live in Brussels towards those people, towards those Muslim, that Muslim community that lives in Molenbeek, because they are the majority over there. And I'm not going to say what the accusation is, but there's an accusation against them. And as a consequence, they are labeled bad in the media, and because of that, most of the young men and women from that town are not invited on job interviews. They may have all the papers and all the qualities, but because they are from Molenbeek, they don't get a job. So the Brussels society is founded on an accusation against those people. And that's why they cannot permit them to receive the same benefits as everyone else, because or else there is no clear distinction. So there is discrimination here. Now, but in Molenbeek itself, there's also accusation against other minorities that are in Molenbeek. And those are excluded. You see how this is going? Now, let's say there is some Minister of Internal Affairs of Belgium that wants to solve the whole problem of crime from Molenbeek. The minister sends a secretary to investigate the situation. The secretary finds out that, hold on a minute, people have an education here, people are willing to work, but why are they not invited on job interviews? So the secretary investigates the employers, but employers can never give an objective reason why they don't want those people at the workplace. And also in Molenbeek, there's also hostilities and fights between different groups. So the secretary sends people to investigate it. The sociologists and anthropologists that investigate it bring their reports. And there the secretary finds out that there's anger going on. But the secretary also realizes that this is not something that some government policy can fix. This has to do with the spiritual condition of the people itself. And there's also one individual from Molenbeek who recognizes this, and he becomes born again. He's a believer. He begins to pray and agree with Christ, and as a consequence, a lot of anger is turned against him. After a while, he leaves Molenbeek and Brussels together and lives somewhere else. And when he lives, he went to, let's say, to another Belgian city, and over there, he received a job. People didn't know he was from Molenbeek, and he was working. He worked perfectly fine, but at the job, while he was having his job, he was noticing the colleagues of him talking bad about Molenbeek and about how those people are all criminals, they are jihadi, they are thugs, they don't belong in Belgium, blah blah blah. And that believer over there became shocked. Those people never went to Molenbeek, they never spoke to people from Molenbeek, but yet they had all these issues and this rage against people from Molenbeek. The believer remained quiet, because that believer did not understand the foundation of the world yet. Look, I'm not saying that you can't resolve conflict. If a conflict can be resolved, you should do it. You should do it. If you can contribute to peace and safety somewhere, you should do it absolutely. Just understand, not everything is meant to be fixed, because the only way you can fix this, there's no fix in this. Those Molenbeek people, and I'm using this in this illustration, the Molenbeek people are the selected victims upon whom the Brussels community charges all their frustrations. And in the Molenbeek community, they also have another minority upon which they do the same. So it's a channeling of negative energies. And it's this channeling of negative energies is what keeps people relatively healthy. The moment you demand, the moment it's demanded that Molenbeek people get jobs, and they are forcefully placed on jobs, what's going to happen? Those people that have agreed with the accusation are going to feel offended. Because once Molenbeek people have jobs in abundance, they've lost their outlet for their rage. So what's going to happen now? Those people are becoming uncomfortable because now they have to learn to repent and let go and look on the inside and deal with stuff. And that's what they don't want to do. So when it happens that forcefully the Molenbeek people are promoted and things are forcefully going well with them, there's going to be attacks on those Molenbeek people. And that's going to lead to other forms of vengeance. Look, in this video, I just want to make plain unto you that when the foundation's accusation, don't try to fix it. And that's what you also see with those so-called marriages. Okay, let me give you an illustration about that. I've given an illustration about the political situation, that there's a collective situation. Now I'm going to give an illustration about a more individual situation. Okay, you have Maureen. Maureen is a French woman, and she fell in love. She became interested in a guy called Pierre. So far, so good. They come together, and after a few weeks, they move in with each other in a house. They even become engaged together. But here, and people from the outside see them together as a happy couple, and they behave publicly. They don't kiss on the streets, don't annoy people with their affections, so people are proving that they are respectful towards others. So everyone thinks, well, they're fine. But hold on a minute. After 5 years, they're already married. They have 1 kid. All hell is breaking loose. And now the husband is complaining that his sexual needs are not met, that every time he wants to make love with her and do their thing together, she becomes annoyed, she begins to make excuses. Well, that's a part of being married, right? Well, Maureen then begins to accuse him, saying that you're very annoying, you never, you don't undertake anything. She began to accuse him of a lot of things. The husband is also accusing her. And this goes on and on and on. And, well, at the workplace where the wife works, there is this guy who is computer engineer. He studied computer engineering. He's working for the company, fixing the computers. And one day, Maureen just begins to look dirty at him. We tried to talk bad about him and all of that. And it went on for a few weeks, and the guy became a bit annoyed, and he reported it onto the employer. The employer told him, "Don't worry about it. She's not right in her mind." But here's the thing. While she was acting out at the workplace against that guy, now she felt comfortable again to sleep with her husband, and things were quiet for a while. The husband, on his job, also he had someone he was picking upon. What am I showing here? Maureen and Pierre. They looked so happy from the outside, but when you go look down in it, Pierre is used to resist. He's not used to acknowledge pain and acknowledge discomfort. He immediately flees the scene, or he begins to act out. He never learned how to deal with the presence of pain. And then you have Maureen. She used to be neglected as a child, emotionally. So she grew up wanting to have control. So both of them had issues, okay? They're not resolved. They don't want to deal with it. So they want to just divert attention somewhere else. Maureen could divert her attention to her boyfriend at the time by complaining to others how pathetic he is and all of that. Nevertheless, she remained with him. And because Maureen was quite submissive, Pierre had the feeling that he was somebody because he could keep control upon someone else. This changed after they had their first child, and now their demons were manifesting. So now what do? Are they going to acknowledge that the foundation was based on accusation? Are they going to acknowledge that the foundation was wrong? And that they either need to both repent and begin all over again, or you just have to quit this. And another thing, they have a baby now, so now you have a child that will grow up within that environment that's also not healthy. But none of them is seriously interested in the child. They only are thinking about themselves. Well, I've given 2 illustrations, a collective one and a more personal one. Both of these people in the last illustration I gave, both of them, when they go to a therapist, they're going to play the victim as if they don't understand what's going on, to try to gain sympathy. And only people that have discernment can understand what's going on. Now let's move into the future now. I'm almost finished. Let's move into the future. 15 years from now. Their child is 15 years old, and the child is a she called Marie. And Marie really hates her parents. She doesn't even want to be around them. And other people are telling her, Maureen, you have to honor your mother and father. If you have to treat your parents with respect, you have to. And Marie does understand that she has to treat her parents well, but those other people don't know what she has endured during her childhood. They don't know how sick in their head those 2 people are, that basically that she has to call her parents. Marie began to smoke at a young age just to relieve some stress. And one guy that she met asked her why she's smoking. She's saying, well, I just like smoking. The guy kept on asking. Then finally, Maria admitted, look, my parents are assholes. They're always throwing their problems at me. They're always screaming at me. They're always blaming me for everything. They never take responsibility. Yes, there are moments that they are sweet, that they are kind, but it does not make well that they are keeping this negative climate around them, and especially burdening me with it. So I don't have any money to get out of the house. I'm too young to get a job, so I'm just coping with this. So just leave me alone, okay? So the other guy leaves her alone. But Marie then realized, hold on a minute. There are people that will understand me. Not everyone is going to just take the side of my parents and join in accusing me. The fact that that other guy, who was just someone from school, no romantic interest, none of that, because someone showed some genuine interest in her situation, it opened her eyes, and that led to the power of accusation to be broken. And when the power of accusation was broken off of Marie, she was able to develop further, to get into new relationships. Because this is also what I want to point out to you. As long as the power of accusation is not broken, healing cannot take place. Accusation must be broken first. How do you do that? First of all, by repentance, by prayer, by fasting, and by walking by faith. Walking by faith also means walking by love. You don't break the power of accusation by avoiding it. You don't break the power of accusation by confronting it either. You break the power of accusation by acknowledging it for what it is and by not taking it seriously. Well, I'm going to end this video now. I didn't want to make it this long, but understand this. For healing to take place, the Satan principle must be exposed for what it is so that it will lose its power. Because as long as the Satan principle, which is the accusation, which is the power of accusation, as long as that is hidden, as long as it's not exposed, it will keep people captive. That's why after you are delivered and freed from it, and you notice that there are people around you, that whenever they come around you, it can be parents, relatives, or it can be other people, I don't care who they are. Anytime they are around you, sooner or later, when they are talking their conversations, they are talking about something bad that happened in the past. Okay, you can talk about things of the past, okay, you can talk about it. But if people are only talking about bad things that happened in the past, and they talk about the same things every time, but you also notice that there's an accusing tone behind it, they understand these people are in bondage. And if you notice that people always are trying to suggest that something's going wrong with you, that they always try to suggest some bad outcome concerning you, or they try to sell some bad outcome to you, when you notice that, just depart from that meeting or from that company, and also be short against those people. You don't have to cuss them out. You don't have to be harsh or rude against them. Just make clear, not today. I'm not talking about that. No, I'm not doing it. And when you notice that they keep on persisting in suggesting a bad outcome about you, then you know that they are operating in the Satan principle against you. Look, you don't win from evil by using evil to fight evil, because you're still left with evil. Even if you defeat the evil they were doing against you, you're still left with evil. Overcome evil with good. That's why be wise as serpents, innocent as doves. Continue in the faith. Be blessed.